Hi, I'm Aurora with Supercharged Math, and I thought I would take this opportunity to welcome you to the math program. We are going to get started really soon, and by soon I mean today there is an arithmetic review for our grades 4, 5, and 6 students. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then also in a couple of weeks we're going to start our live class series, and I want to make sure you have all the information that you need to really get the most out of this program. So if you're new, this is a great place to start. I'm going to actually do a tour. I'm going to walk through the website. We're going to do it together here. And I'm going to take you step by step, show you where everything is, how it's all laid out, and really how the program works. Okay, so really quickly, this program is intended, my math program, is intended for grades 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you know your student is ready when they have already mastered the basic arithmetic skills. So we're talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. They can do that with whole numbers. And they also have most, if not all, of that multiplication table handled. Now, before you panic, don't worry if your student is struggling with the multiplication table and they're just not making a lot of progress with it. I actually have a step-by-step instructional video that shows you how to actually work through it. And I'll show you where that is when we get onto the main website for the math program. Okay, so there is an arithmetic review. It's happening today. So today is Thursday, and it is happening at 12 o'clock Pacific, and it will be recorded and it will be posted. I'll show you where I'm going to post it after we have the class. And so this is a 60-minute session with one of our teachers. His name is Doug, and he is going to go step by step just as a quick review for those of you who need a little bit, maybe it's been a summer, it's been a few weeks since you've been doing some math, and this is just a fun, interactive way to get back into the groove of things. And so this is totally optional. It's a bonus class. We've never actually offered this before, so I'm excited that that's coming to you. Okay, so that's coming first of all. And if you miss it, that's okay. Just watch the recording when it fits for your schedule. All right, so shall we dive in? Okay. So the math program looks like this, and it is divided into two separate sections. So we have grades 4, 5, and 6, and then we have content for grades 7 and 8. So let's go through it step by step so you know exactly what you're getting into. Okay, so if you have a pencil and a sheet of paper, you want to grab that right now. And so as I'm talking about things, if I see something you're like, ooh, I don't want to forget that, or ooh, I have questions about that, just write it down. You can always send me an email with your questions, aurora@superchargedscience.com. Send me a question or a set of questions at any time. Before we dive into the website, I did want to answer the question that usually comes in like, ooh, I think my student needs a little bit more help with some of the basics. Do you have book recommendations? And I do. I have a couple of them. Number one, my kids actually really like this one. This is the Math Dictionary, and they just use it as a reference. It's got a lot of pictures in it, and this will serve kids for a long time. Feel free to write in it and dog-ear it and like really use it as a reference. So this is something fun. It's optional. You don't have to have this. This is one of them. The other one is Dr. Wright's Kitchen Table Math. This is a series, let's see, there's actually 3 of them here. So there's 3 books. And what I recommend with this one is this is if you as a parent want to teach your kids math, and these are just more of the basic skills you're going to need. You'll only need book 1 up through like I think it's 3rd to 4th grade. And so you can work through this. It has examples. This is not a book you hand your kids and say, hey, work through it. There are no drill worksheets or anything. This is step-by-step showing the parent, you, how to teach your kids math using stuff you already have around the house. So this is one that I recommend as well if you need a little bit more help. Okay, so let's dive into the website so we can go step by step. Okay, so first thing that you'll notice, it says, welcome to Supercharged Math. There's a login box. And so if you're having login questions, you're going to stop watching this video. You're going to send me an email right now, aurora@superchargedscience.com. If you can't log in, if for some reason on some browsers, it won't log you in, or it won't look like it is, but you are logged in and it won't give you access. Anyway. Long story short, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong, but send me an email because we know how to fix it. Okay, so let's go back to the website. So you have logged in and you're ready to go. Okay, so here's the deal with the program. You work through the program at your own pace on your own schedule. And so what that means is you decide what you want your student to study, and then you simply click on that. Say you want to start with fractions, or maybe your students already mastered fractions, you're ready for decimals. And so you simply click on that area. So the first thing you'll notice is when you scroll down, there are numbers here. So this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, And if it takes you more than 1 week to finish a week's worth of work, that's fine. Feel free to take this program at your own pace on your own schedule. All right, so suppose your student is new to decimals, never seen it before. You simply click on this. And so this could be fractions, this could be decimals. We have it for fractions, decimals, and percent for grades 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the first thing at the top, this is an intro video of me explaining to you as the parent what we're going to be doing in this session, okay? And then you'll scroll down here, you see where it says Math Assignments Outline. Okay, so let's open that. These are the math assignments your students will be working on. Now, if your students are brand new, meaning they're new to the concept that I'm talking about in the math class, then they're going to stick up here with the beginner section. And that's it. That's all they have to do. They can pick and choose which one of these they'd like to do. I do recommend doing the workbook because that's really the core of the program. And then we also, especially for beginners, we try to include another activity or something fun to do in addition to workbook. Okay, and then if your student is familiar with the concept but they need more practice with it, that's what the intermediate level is. And you'll find the games and the activities and the fun stuff is in here. Sometimes there are scavenger hunts and all kinds of puzzles and neat different math projects that they can do. That's the intermediate level. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back. Okay, so this was that parent video I mentioned, and this was the outline, and there's one of these for every single session. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you see where it says beginner level math class. Okay, so these are the recordings of me introducing the concept. Usually they're about 20 to 30 minutes long, and they do include question and answers that I'm answering the students' live questions at the end, and so we're taking it step by step. Okay, so you'll watch the recording. That's like being in the math class. And then if you need to pause the video, if you need to slow it down, if I'm talking too fast, a lot of students prefer to watch the recording and not necessarily be in the live class because often, especially when things are new, students often feel a little bit overwhelmed, like, whoa, wait, what did she just say? And so by watching the recording, you can control that. You can control the speed. You can even do closed captioning if your students need more like words on to actually see. So all that's available for you. One of the best ways I have noticed that students really have a lot of success with the program is they will simply watch the live class with me, and then they'll go back and watch the recording while they have their pencil and notebook out, and they are actually writing down what I'm writing down in the problem. So they've already seen it, but now they get to internalize it by, they'll watch it and then they'll physically write it in their math journal. And that way they can pause it if I'm writing too quickly or describing something too quickly, and then it's really at their own pace. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so I've split it into several sections. So there's me introducing the concept. And then what we also have is, you see where it says day 2, part 1, day 2, part 2. So when I'm introducing it, it's day 1. Okay, and then the level is beginner because we're in the beginner level. And then day 2 is where this is Doug. He is one of our teachers, and so he's the other teacher with me. And what he does is really cool. He will take the concepts that I am introducing on the Monday session of the live class, and then he will spend an entire hour with the students on that concept, just doing example after example after example. And often he'll even ask the students, do you have a problem that you'd like me to solve? And so he's very interactive. And so if you can join Doug live, I would highly recommend it. He goes at a much slower pace than I do when I'm explaining things, and he spends a full hour with the students. And so that's going to happen every single week as well. And so I will introduce a topic, and then Doug is going to go a lot slower, a lot more in depth into that topic. And so the recordings of both of us are here. All right, now in addition to this, there are, if you choose this option, there is also a third teacher. Her name is Leah, and she is running a study hall for 60 minutes every single week. And the date and time varies a little bit. And so if you want to participate in those sessions, that's more one-on-one. It's very small group, private tutoring feel. She's really great. She's super happy and friendly with the students, and the students really feel comfortable asking the questions. And she also has them working with each other as well. And so it's a very small, intimate little group of students that is also led by a teacher. So that's available if your student would like that one-on-one, a little extra help. And you don't have to, you can just drop in at any time. You can drop in for 10 minutes. You can just do one of them. You could come every single week. It's totally up to you. Okay, so let's keep going. So we have a math class. So every Monday, I will introduce a topic. We go for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then also, we will have Doug doing a 60-minute session later in the week on Wednesdays for grades 4, 5, and 6. And we post recordings here, and then there is a workbook. So at the end of class, we'll say, okay, now students, we want you to go ahead and open your workbook. And so the workbooks are on this page. Make sure you scroll down to the correct workbook. So I'm demoing the decimals, so you're gonna go here. And if you're not sure, if your student has had some decimals, but you're not exactly sure how much they've had and what that should, like, do we start with 1? But they've had some. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to open up decimals workbook number 1. The answer keys are found here. So you'll open this up. And if you think your student has already completed some of them, just skip down to the last 2 or 3 pages, and it'll say review. And so give these pages to your student. If they can complete them without hesitating, they've gotten most of them right, then you've tested out of that workbook. And so you'll find these in all the workbooks, and actually the first couple of pages of subsequent workbooks are review from the previous one. So there's a lot of overlap between there to make sure there's not a lot of gaps. Okay, so the workbooks here, you can opt to print them out. The other thing you can do if you are not wanting to print out a lot of pages, that's totally fine. What I do recommend is just get a regular spiral bound notebook and have your students look at the PDF, so the workbook, and then just write it down. Write down their answers, write down their solutions, and you'll find your students will actually pick up even more because the act of looking at something, interpreting it, and writing it down really gets it ingrained in their brain. And so if your students struggle with writing, you might want to print them out initially. But eventually what we want our students to do is to have their own notes in their own journal, and that happens later in the year. But in the beginning, if you want to print more things out, that's fine too. And so you can print out the workbooks or not, it's up to you. And then we always give you the answer key if you need it. And so the answer key, most people don't print these out, they just look at them and students can compare their answers once they've completed their work. Okay, so how are we doing so far? Is this kind of making sense how this works? Your student comes to class for 20 minutes and then there's a workbook. They work through that all week and then for grades 4, 5, and 6 on Wednesday, they have Doug for 60 minutes. They've already had a few days to work through the new concepts that I've introduced on Monday, and they can come with their questions. And then they work a little bit more, and then currently Leah's study hall is on Friday, so now they have a few more days to work, and then they can come and interact with the teacher again. So there's lots and lots of support for our students. Okay, should we get to the fun stuff now? All right, so suppose your student is already familiar with the concept and that we're introducing for the week, and they want to do some of the fun games and puzzles and activities. Okay, so what you do is you scroll down a little bit more. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the workbooks, here, wait, pause that for a second. The workbooks that I had mentioned, they all have step-by-step instructional videos now of me walking through the workbook. So if your student would like some help with the workbook, if they're getting stuck, they're not quite sure, what the workbook is asking, just have them play these videos. It'll say workbook number 1, it'll tell you the pages that it covers. And then, so it's basically like extra class time with me. And so those are available as well. This is new this year. I'm really excited that we have step-by-step instructional videos for every single page of the workbook, for every single workbook. There are currently 22 workbooks on the website. So you can imagine how many hours of video that is. So yeah, so that's available as well. Okay, so I had mentioned all the fun stuff, so let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, now we're in the intermediate. So the intermediate also has a live class. It's about 20 to 30 minutes. This one, well, I should say 15 to 30 minutes. So this is me going into more detail of something we just covered and introduced with the beginners. Okay, so once I introduce that near the end of class, I'll say, okay, now it is time for you to take a look at all of the different labs and projects and activities that I have available for you. And you can see it here. The first one is the fast food restaurant. There are step-by-step instructional videos that go with that. There's, this is a decimals game. Often there's a game or a puzzle or a challenge. This one uses cards and dice. So if there are materials that are needed, they're pretty easy to get. This one uses M&Ms. so there's lots of fun things for your student to really reinforce what we just went over in the beginner and the intermediate level of the classes. And I wouldn't worry too much about, oh, my child is a beginner, oh, my child is an intermediate level. Often the students will go between beginner and intermediate, and sometimes that can happen even within the same day. So I wouldn't get too hung up on those terms, those labels. I just use them so you know that, hey, I'm introducing a concept, and here it is for 20 minutes, and now, okay, we're going to take that concept and work with it a little bit more. So that's the only reason that I use that. Okay, how are we doing so far? This sounding good? I hope so. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is once you finish session 1 and your student does beginner and intermediate, it's natural to think, oh, now they're advanced, but that's not how the program's set up. What you want to do next is you're going to go to session 2 and do beginner intermediate, and then session 3, beginner intermediate, and then you're going to work your way all through all the sessions. Usually there's 7, and when you finish the 7th session, you're going to go back to the first session, for example, in decimals, and then you can look at the advanced content. Now, advanced assumes you're already comfortable with the concepts, all the concepts of decimals. You can add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals, and all of that is easy for you. And, well, maybe not easy, but all of it your student is comfortable with and they can do. And so in the advanced section, what that does is we are now bringing in practical applications. This is where the engineering labs are, and you'll see like a lot of science labs in there. And so the first 2 weeks of decimals, for example, are geography. So we are taking decimals and expanding it, and it's like, how do we use this in the real world? And so we make sure you complete all 7 sessions of beginner, intermediate, and the workbooks, and as many of the projects you'd like to do before you start the advanced. So advanced is really for students who are already familiar and comfortable, and they're ready to see how to use this stuff in the real world. Okay, so how is that? Okay, so that's the program in a nutshell. So let's go back and start to look at a few more specifics. Okay, so I had mentioned, what do you do if your student is, well, they're ready for fractions, but it's been a while and they need a little bit more help with some of the arithmetic stuff. Okay, so what you're going to do is on any page of the website, go all the way down to the bottom. Do you see where it says bonus math resources? Here, I'll highlight it here. You're going to click on that. That's going to take you to a page where you will see the first thing is multiplication tables. And so if your student is maybe struggling with a concept, how to do mental math, how to add quickly in your head. So this is a page of videos that I've created. A lot of students struggle with division, for example, and being able to tell what numbers are divisible by what. So all of these videos really answer a lot of the questions that have come in over the past year or two with the program. And so I've created step-by-step videos to really answer those. And so I'm constantly adding to this page. This video you're watching right now will be placed there as well, in addition to the arithmetic review. Okay, so that's where you're going to find those resources. And so anything that you're looking for, like, oh, I really need a little bit of help. My student should know this already, but okay, so that's in there. The other thing you can do is on the website, if you go down to the bottom of any page, so right below where it says bonus math resources, you're going to see it says, right above, it'll say workbooks. So you can click on workbooks. It's also at the top of every page. Okay. Scroll all the way down on the workbooks page and you will see bonus math resources. So remember at the beginning of the class I had mentioned a few of these books, Dr. Wright's Kitchen Table Math and the Math Dictionary. So I have a whole stack of these. So these were just 2 of my favorites. So I have a whole bunch of resources. So again, you're going to go to workbooks, scroll all the way down, and this is a 20-minute video. These are not required, but if you'd like to invest in more books or even mathematical and educational toys, and there are quick links here on the side that you can access everything that I'm talking about in the video. So that's a little bonus. So again, it's under workbooks and it is right at the bottom. Okay, let me think. What else are we going to talk about? Schedules. Let's talk about schedules. All right, so you have a student, you've enrolled in the program, you're excited to get going. How do you know where to start? Okay, so this is a self-paced program. You go at your own pace, on your own schedule, and in addition, there are live classes. So I will go through the program, and every 7 weeks, I move to a new area for grades 4, 5, and 6. And I promise I'm going to talk about grades 7 and 8 in a couple of minutes. Okay, so for grades 4, 5, and 6, what does that mean? That means you go back to the website, and at the top of any page, okay, you see where it says grades 4, 5, and 6 live classes. Let's see if I can, I can't highlight it. Okay, well, it's up here. And I'm gonna click on it, and you will see the fall schedule. Okay, so it'll say the first session, 9 a.m. on Mondays. Second session, this is on Wednesdays. And the study hall, if you've opted for this, it's on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific. So these are the dates. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see what we are covering. And it has the session here. It also has the dates, September 18th, 20th. And then these are quick links that'll take you to the recordings for this week. So since they haven't happened yet, the current recordings aren't there. They're the ones from last year, but they will be updated with the new ones. And actually, we're going to keep last year's as well and just add them. Okay. And you can download this schedule by clicking here to download the teaching schedule, and it looks like this. Where's the teaching schedule? It looks like that. Okay. All right. So the other thing you'll notice is there is a player here. Okay, so what is that? So that player is the next live class. And so some students really don't like being on Zoom, and I hear you, not a problem. So what you can do is we have two opportunities. You can either watch us live on Zoom, and you can have your camera off, that's fine. And you can also, that's good for students that have questions they want answered, and also students that like to have their camera on and like to be able to see the teacher and have them see them as well. Or you can keep your camera off and just type in the questions, and we always get those in the chat. Okay. So for students that really don't like that and just want to watch us live but don't want to have any of that interaction, what we have is a private player. And so so you look at the schedule, and so whatever class is next, that's the one that will play here. So this player is constantly being updated. When the class is over, we take that recording and post it to the appropriate week. And you can click on any of these, and that will be the week that it gets posted to. Okay, so if you're not sure about where to find the next class, always come to the schedules where it says grades 4 through 6 live classes, and the next live class will always be here. And if you want to click here, this is how you join us on Zoom, or you can just watch the live stream. Both are exactly the same content. So you'll see me either on Zoom by clicking this button, or you can watch here. So for the arithmetic review here, it's only on Zoom. It's not on this player. So you're going to use this link for the arithmetic review. Okay, and the review will be posted. I will put it in. You click here, bonus math resources. That's where the arithmetic will be, the review once we're done. Okay. Okay, and then for grades 7 and 8, are you ready to shift gears? Okay. So that's grades 4, 5, 6, and the schedule that I just showed you is just the fall schedule. So the schedule for winter and spring has not been posted yet. It'll be posted soon, and then you'll be able to see what we are doing. I can tell you now we're going to be covering percent, probably doing some review of fractions and decimals, and then we're going to have a non-algebra geometry series. Currently, the geometry sessions that are on the website require algebra. Did I say that right? Yeah, the geometry requires algebra, so that's more appropriate for grades 7 and 8. So, but we do want to have geometry, so that's brand new. Let me show you where you can find it. And so if you go to here, mini math course, you see where it says geometry grades 4th through 6th. And so you'll click there, and then when spring rolls around, you'll actually see content on this page. There will also be a pre-algebra course. And so you see where it says pre-algebra. So that's something else that we're going to be doing in the springtime as well. And that's where it's going to be under mini math course. So we have a lot to do in winter and spring. It's going to be totally packed and totally fun. All right, so those sessions are coming. They're brand new. And so they'll be posted soon. Okay, let's shift gears to grades 7 and 8. All right, so how is it different? So the main difference is the schedule. Okay, so let's just dive right in. So we're going to click on grades 7 and 8, live classes, which is right there. Okay, and then you'll see that the times are different. Okay, obviously we can't teach two classes I can't teach two classes at the same time. It also has a live stream player, so your student can either click the button below to join the same class on Zoom, or they can just sit here and watch just the live class. They won't be able to submit any questions unless they're on Zoom, so it's up to them how they want to do this. Scroll down, you'll see in fall we are focused on pre-algebra and algebra 1. Okay, so we have 14 sessions. Every session has those 3 opportunities. Monday is with me, Thursday's with Doug, Friday, well, Leah's study hall date may change, but for fall, it's going to be on Friday. Okay, and so there are, the whole schedule is here, and again, you can download the teaching schedule if you'd like. What are we going to be doing in winter and spring for grades 7 and 8? We're going to be doing geometry. So last year, I didn't have the opportunity to teach the full geometry course because, well, honestly, I bit off more than I could chew. Because I did way too much content. I was so excited when, originally I was just going to do pre-algebra, because the course last year was just grades 4, 5, and 6. It wasn't supposed to be grades 7 and 8. But I had so much fun teaching the pre-algebra. I'm like, well, let's just do the little algebra. And so I got carried away. I taught a full-blown algebra course in 7 weeks, which was a crazy amount of content. And so I actually have the number over there. I generated for algebra, it was 293 videos. So that's way more videos than in 7 weeks. Can you imagine watching that? And we're not talking 5-minute videos. Those were between 20 to 45 minutes. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that 7-week Algebra 1 course and we're going to expand it and take our time. And that's what fall is going to be. Now, because of that, geometry got a little bit squished. And so instead of teaching all the geometry I wanted to, I was going to, and it was going to be even more intense than algebra. And so I thought, you know what would serve the students best? So instead, I kind of pulled back a little bit, took my foot off the throttle, and just spent some took a deep dive into really the foundations of geometry, but it did require algebra. So long story short, I'm going to spend fall in algebra, pre-algebra and algebra for grades 7 and 8. And in the spring, I am going to cover geometry. And there are more sessions in geometry that are coming that I just didn't get to last year, so they're not posted yet. So you have something to look forward to as well. So if you're thinking, okay, that's just 1 year, and I have a 7th grader, do I do algebra for the whole year, or do I follow the live class? It's up to you. If you would like to do some algebra and then take a break and do some geometry and then come back and do next year, you could do some more algebra and some more geometry. There's going to be a ton of content on the website. Okay, and also in addition for grades 7 and 8, we also have a couple of bonuses. So look at this. You see under mini math courses, there's 2 courses, probability and statistics, and these are currently up. We are going to be adding to them during the year, and looks like the picture didn't load. Sorry about that. And so we're going to be adding to them during the year, and so you can access these. They're between, I would say, between 4 and 8 weeks each. So if your student would like a break from, say, doing algebra, so pause and do some probability, and then dive back into algebra or do some geometry, and then pause when they're ready, and then do some statistics, and then come back. So there's plenty to choose from. One of the things we did is over the summer, we do probability and statistics because they're fun. There's lots of games involved, and it really uses a lot of stuff we had covered in the academic year. Okay, I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. Does that kind of give you a bird's eye view? Okay, so one of the things I want you to do right now is just smile and just relax because I have this all covered. We are going to have an amazing year this year. And so this is really like a nuts and bolts type of video. Usually I don't go into quite this much detail, but I want you to see how the program's laid out and how you can go through it. And so the first thing I want you to do right now is I want you to click on Start Here. Okay, so that's up here. Start here, even if you've done this before. So I would encourage you to watch the starter pack video, and then right below it, you see where it says download course packet and information. So open that up. So I'll click on it. All right. So this is 5 pages, not that long. Okay, so it'll tell you step by step pretty much what we just went over. It also has the material list for the year. So the materials are not that crazy. You see this is it for the whole year. And honestly, we don't use most of these things until geometry. Protractor and compass, not until geometry. Grid paper, not till geometry. And then these things get used, the index cards, rubber band, scissors, tape, string, they get used a little bit during the year, but mostly in algebra. And the dice, you want to grab those. Those are going to be some fun activities that you'll have the opportunity to use. Okay. I should mention one more thing. If you scroll down, I should mention a few more things. There's an FAQ about the course. And this is all based on the questions that we get every single week about the math program. So I put this together, and you see where it says still have questions? Download the rest of this document here. Okay, so we're on page 5. So if I do that and I click here, I get this first same 5 pages, but then you've got the whole thing. You've got all the FAQ, which goes on quite a bit because parents have a lot of good questions. It also includes how to track your students' progress, how to grade it, what a personal grading sheet looks like, okay? And then some things that I thought would be useful for parents, how a child learns, what the 4 levels of learning are from an educator's perspective, and really how to make sure that your student is succeeding, thriving, and really just loving learning. And so how do you do that? And so with the practical, again, nuts and bolts of what that looks like. And so that's in there as well. So that's in the download. So one more time, that is, you click on the start here. Let's get back there. Here we go. You click on start here, and you'll click on course packet, you'll download your course packet and information. And again, it's first 5 pages, and if you want the full-blown thing, then you click here for the rest of the packet, and it'll download the rest of the pages for you. Okay, I think we covered most of it. Yes? Okay, let's go back to the website here. Let's see. All right, so what are the topics that we cover? So for grades 4, 5, and 6, we cover fractions, decimals, and percent. We're also going to have a pre-algebra and a geometry course, which are brand new this year. And if you're in grades 7 and 8, we're going to spend fall in algebra and winter and spring in geometry, statistics, probability, and a few more fun things that we have planned for you. All right, so those are all in there, and everything is in here. And again, this is a program that is taught, that's me building a comet using chemistry. This is one of our science classes. So this is a math class taught by scientists, taught by engineers, taught by people who use math in their everyday lives. And mostly me. I'm the one who does like 90% of the videos that you're going to see. All the workbook videos, all the math, the challenges, the labs, all the activities and the projects and the games, that's all me. And then Doug is going to come in during the live sessions to go through things a little bit more slowly and more in depth after I've introduced them. And then the study hall, Leah, that's that small group private tutoring that you can opt to participate in. And so there's lots of opportunities for your student to grow, to thrive, to really understand this math stuff, understand what it's for, and have a big look of just pure joy on their face. And I can't tell you how many times we get to hear the success stories from our parents and from our families. In fact, I shared those with you. Here, take a look at this. If you scroll all the way down and you see where it says Our Students, you click on there. This is the first, I want to say the first 100, so this is our team. There's Doug and there's Leah. And so this is the first 100 pieces of feedback I got when the program was brand new and only, I want to say only about 3 weeks in. So most of the program, like you see it now, wasn't even there. So it was just fractions. Week number 1, 2, and 3 were up. This is the feedback we got. And I was so excited that parents were already seeing results with their students. And so I was really excited. So I grabbed that, I put the first 100 of them on the website, and I should update this because I have more I could add as well. But mostly what parents, I want to say 90% of the feedback is the advanced labs were their favorite, the projects, the look of excitement on their kids' faces, and also the surprise from the parents that their kids were now wanting to do math. Whereas before, the kids would do everything they could in their power to avoid doing math, or constant power struggles, just not wanting to engage, and just really feeling a lack of confidence and stress and anxiety about math. And now they can't believe how much their kids have turned that around. And the parents are thinking, I didn't even do anything. I just signed up for Aurora's class. So like I said, that is on me. That's what I'm really good at. I'm really excited that you're going to be joining me. I know my program's not for everyone. That's why I encourage you to try it. It's got that full 30-day money-back guarantee. Try the program. If it's right for you and your kids, welcome aboard. Welcome to my math family. If it's not, that's okay. Just let me know. Remember, within the first 30 days of when you enroll, so you can get a full refund. There's no hassle, no fine print. There's nothing to send back. I want to make sure that this is a program that will work for you. You shouldn't have to pay for something like that's totally you're not going to be using. So do make sure you do give the program a good test drive. Okay, so I went a bit longer than I meant to, but I hope it's been really, really helpful. I wanted to release this before the arithmetic review today, so you'd know exactly, this is kind of like Aurora's getting organized and ready for math. So if you have questions that I didn't answer, let me know, aurora@superchargedscience.com. I will see you in class, and we are starting, if you want to know, well, when's the first day of classes? Let me go back to the website. Remember, you just pick the level that you're at. Say you're in grades 4, 5, and 6. You have a student in grades 4, 5, and 6. You scroll down here, and the first session is listed here, and it's the second week of September is when we start, and then your time is right up here. You see that? And it's going to stay the same all year long, okay? And so you can rest assured we have this totally handled. Now, if you notice that we're starting with fractions in September. So if your student has already mastered fractions, that's okay. You can go ahead and move to another area. Say they've already done fractions and decimals, but they're not so sure about percent. Okay, so that's where you start. And so you can start when you're ready, and you start with session 1. And then you're going to use the workbook to help assess where your student is. Remember, you can download the outline. You see the workbooks are here. There's scavenger hunts. There's lots of fun things for your student to do for session number 1. The concepts that we cover for this section are listed on that main first page. We got to this by just clicking on the word percent. And you see here, it says Intro to Percent and Personal Finances. And so these are the skills that we are covering, and then this is it in more detail. Oh, and can I share one more thing? I forgot. So the website is almost complete. It's about 90% complete, maybe about 85%, because I still have that geometry that I mentioned I'm going to be adding. I'm going to be adding about 200 more videos in addition to what I mentioned before. So there's algebra coming, there's geometry coming, there's all the recordings of us doing live classes coming, all of that's coming. And in addition, there's 200 more videos coming. It's like 200 more, what else are you doing? Okay, watch this. So one of the questions we get is our program aligned with Common Core? So go to the bottom of any page, and do you see it says Math Common Core Quick Checks? So you click on that. And this is a page that has all of the Common Core standards benchmarks that are here. You see where it says 4th grade. These are all the ones listed according to Common Core, okay, according to their index numbers. And so what I'm going to be doing, there's 6th grade, 7th grade, and do you see how long this page is? It's because there's 200 of these things. So what I'm doing this year is I am linking that this standard, so whatever the concept is, whatever the skill is, say for example, prime and composite numbers. When you click on this, you go to that part of my website where I cover it. I'm also giving you a quick check with an answer key. So if you're not sure if your student has mastered that particular skill, you can just print this out and see how they do. And if you've forgotten what it is, you'll also be able to click for a video. Whoops, sorry about that. You'll be able to click for a quick 30 to 60 second video of me explaining it. Now, this is not the way you go through the website. This is not the way I teach things. This is just like, oh, yeah, that's right, I get it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so these quick checks will be available for every single Common Core thing. So our program is not aligned with Common Core. What that means is we're actually, it exceeds Common Core. So we are doing more than is required for Common Core for grades 4th through 8th, but we're doing them in a different order and sequence. Personally, one that I think makes a whole lot more sense. So if you are with us from grades 4th through 8th, you'll have all of your Common Core standards, if that's important to you, more than handled. And your student will be able to enter 9th grade either in Algebra 2 or in high school geometry, whatever the option is, depending on the school system that they're in. Sometimes they do Algebra 2, sometimes they do high school geometry. It just depends on the school. Okay, so if you complete our program, that's where you'll be. And so we basically take you from arithmetic, and that's where you start, and get you ready to enter Algebra 2 or high school geometry, and we fill in all of those gaps. And honestly, we do so much practical application. That's what the program is built on, that your student is going to be so far ahead because we answer the questions of what is this concept for and why should I care, which are the two stumbling blocks a lot of math teachers cannot answer because they've never used it before. Like they aren't a chemist. They don't know how to calculate concentration or molarity in a chemical reaction. They have no idea how to design a truss bridge and what the forces are on these individual members because they've never used math in that way. They don't know about force vectors, for example, with acceleration and with velocity. They've never done that, but those are the labs that your student will be doing in the advanced section. So they will already have been exposed to high school, like advanced high school, and also college level labs that we are actually going to be doing with your student, and that's what's in the advanced section. So there's a lot coming your way. Does that sound like a lot? Yes. Is it going to be fun? Absolutely. Does it sound like maybe a little bit overwhelming? Yes. And so that's why we walk you through step by step. We're going to have a great time. I encourage you to join us. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming. If you have questions, you're going to write to me right now, Aurora at superchargedscience.com, and I will see you in class.